Chapter 9. I woke up to a world soaked in unfamiliar, sickening luxury. My senses acted as though I had been violently torn from a nightmare only to be dropped into a mirage. I fluttered my heavy eyelids open, struggling to adjust to the dim, lush chamber that enveloped me. The bed beneath me was a masterpiece of excess, draped in silk sheets that shined faintly in the muted light. Their cool, slippery texture was a jarring contrast to the rough, ancient stone walls that loomed around me. Où suis-je? I wondered, as my fingers were tracing the silk as I searched for something, anything, to ground me. My last memory flickered behind my eyes like a broken lantern. Rain hammering the cobblestones of the Almiron Square, Vera's miserable betrayal, Louis's suffocating grey magic, and the absolute blackness that followed. Instinctively, my hand flew to my shoulder, bracing for the sticky warmth of blood or the jagged edge of a wound from Vera's claws. Nothing. I found only smooth, unmarked skin. Pas possible, I thought. My pulse quickened as confusion tangled with the fragile thread of dread. Magic, then, but whose and why? My gaze drifted to a plush chair beside the bed. Neatly folded across it laid a dress, a cascade of heavy red velvet that seemed to glow with an inner fire. It was my favorite shade. Its waist was embroidered with intricate silver threads that shimmered like stars. A faint, involuntary smile tugged at my lips, though it resonated with a deep unease twisting in my gut. Someone knew me far too well. I rose. My legs trembled as though the floor itself was conspiring to betray my balance. I slipped into the dress. Its weight settled over me like armor forged from silk and shadow, molding to my curves with an unsettling precision. Approaching a gilded mirror across the room, my reflection stared back. I looked regal, yet hollow-eyed. A queen in captivity rather than a victor in triumph. Let's uncover this game, I thought, squaring my shoulders and lifting my chin until my resolve hardened into a blade's edge. A sharp knock shattered the quiet. The door creaked open to reveal a servant clad in Almiron's somber grey livery. His face was an absolute blank slate. His eyes were avoiding mine as though I was a flame too bright to behold. "Lady Martha," he intoned. His voice was entirely absent of warmth. "You are summoned to the dining hall. The king awaits your presence." My brow arched. King Ludwig, I presume? And what, if you may tell, does he desire of me at this ungodly hour? "It is not my place to say, my lady. I am merely to escort you." I sighed heavily, waving him off with a dismissive flick of my wrist as if shooing a persistent fly. "D'accord. Lead the way." He led me through the castle's sprawling corridors, a labyrinth of torch-lit stone where shadows flickered like specters. The air thickened as we neared the dining hall, rich with the heady aroma of roasted meats, the sharp tang of spiced wine, and the sweetness of candied fruits. The heavy wooden doors were pushed open, and I stepped into a spectacle of breathtaking, repulsive majesty. The hall was a cavern of excess. A long table stretched through the center, bowing under a fist fit for the divine. Platters of golden roasted boar, vibrant glazed vegetables, and crystal goblets that refracted the candlelight into tiny rainbows. Nobles, dressed in silks and velvets, filled the space. Their laughter was rising like a melody over the clink of glasses. Guards stood along the walls. Their grey armor was a stark, silent promise of the iron fist hidden beneath this velvet glove. At the table's head sat King Ludwig. His silver-flecked beard framed a face that was both harsh and cheerful. To his right lounged Sasha. Her orange hair blazed in the light, and her green eyes locked onto mine with the unyielding, predatory focus of a hawk sighting prey. Across from her sat Louis. His grey eyes twinkled with a rogue's absolute mischief. "Lady Martha!" Ludwig's voice boomed, cutting through the chatter like a horn's call. "The final guest we awaited. Come, join us at our table." Every nerve in my body lit up with blaring warning signs. The air was thick with the scent of danger, as tangible as the feast before me. Yet the weight of the room's collective gaze pressed me forward. I walked with deliberate, measured steps and settled into an empty chair directly across from Sasha. Her smile was a dagger. Her fingers drummed a silent, mocking rhythm against the table's edge. A trap, I thought, as the realization sank into my bones like frost. But what is the trap here? Louis rose, raising his crystal goblet high. "Hey, toast!" he proclaimed. His voice sliced effortlessly through the noise. "To the glory of King Ludwig, to the flourishing trade with White Rock, and the wise Count Remus and his radiant daughter Sasha. Let us drink to prosperity, to alliance, and to the bonds that unite our realms." Cheers erupted around the hall. My hand hovered over my own cup, a delicate, crystal vessel brimming with dark wine. Its surface rippled faintly, as though concealing a secret in its depth. "Drink, Lady Martha," Ludwig urged softly. His eyes crinkled with a masterful facade of warmth. "A fine vintage, I assure you, straight from my own cellars." I swallowed my hesitance, lifting the cup with a hand that gave only the faintest tremor. I had no choice but to play their game. I brushed the rim to my lips and took a tentative sip. The wine was rich and heady, laced with a bite of cinnamon, but the moment it slid down my throat, a violent, burning heat ignited in my chest. It spread through my veins like unleashed wildfire. I gasped. The goblet slipped from my grasp, crashing against the oak table. The dark wine spilled, spreading in a stain that gleamed exactly like blood. A sharp, oppressive hush fell over the room. The noble's fun extinguished instantly as all eyes turned to me. I clutched my chest. My breath was ragged. My vision tilted as the room swung like a ship caught in a tempest. Poison? Panic surged like a riptide, but this was no mere venom. I felt hollowed out. My strength was seeping away like sand through a broken hourglass. My very essence flowed away with each labored exhale. My gaze locked onto the fallen goblet. A shimmering steam of red sparkles was rising from the spilled wine, alive and pulsing, flowing into the crystal like a river of stolen light. My power! Le gobelet de transfert, I realized, with pure dread crashing over me. The department's mythic relic, a vessel crafted to siphon power from one soul to another, a thief cloaked in the guise of hospitality. Sasha's laughter sliced through the silence. It was cold, exultant, and it grated against my nerves like a blade on stone. She leapt onto the table with the grace of a panther, prowling towards the goblet as the crowd parted in awe. "Poor Martha," she purred, snatching the relic with a theatrical flourish. Her eyes were blazing with my stolen fire, ever so trusting, ever so naive. The red stream shifted, redirecting seamlessly into Sasha. It enveloped her in a crimson aura that throbbed with each beat of her heart. She sighed, with a sound of pure ecstasy, arching her back as she absorbed my lifeblood. I slumped in my chair. My limbs felt as heavy as lead. My power was slipping away, leaving me a diminished husk. The nobles resumed their revelry. Their glasses clinked, finding my absolute torment to be nothing more than a jester's act to amuse their feast. My vision began to dim at the edges, fluttering like a candle dying in the wind. Then a thunderous crash shattered the hall. The massive wooden doors burst inward, shattering like dry wood chips. The sound rolled through the chamber like a cannon's roar. Gasps rippled through the crowd as Volunteer stormed in. His black cloak billowed like a tempest's heart, and his crimson eyes blazed with a fury that could tear the stone apart. 6 vampire overlords flanked him. Their claws were glinting like polished steel. The air filled up with imminent violence. From the far end of the table rose a figure I hadn't noticed amidst the chaos. Lord Remus. His blue cloak swept the floor. His face was scarred with a resolve as unyielding as the mountains. He stepped forward, meeting my father's gaze. "Volunteer," Remus said. His voice was drawn in silk. "I didn't anticipate your presence here." Volunteer's smile was a gash of pure menace. "Nor I yours, Remus, yet fate has drawn us together once more." "I came prepared for your arrival," Remus replied smoothly. "You couldn't resist the call, could you?" "She is my blood," Volunteer snarled, as his guttural growl shook the hall's very stones. "Did you think I would stand idle while you bleed her dry like some petty cutthroat?" Remus's fist tightened. "She is a murderer, Volunteer. She killed Sarah. Justice demands compensation, and I will see it enacted." "Justice?" Volunteer laughed bitterly, draining her like a leech. "No more bargains, Remus. No more mercy." The tension fractured like fragile ice. Volunteer lunged. Black magic erupted in a roiling torrent, surging towards Remus like a wave of night. Remus countered with a blinding blaze of grey light. Their powers collided in a cataclysm that rattled the hall to its foundations. The vampire overlords charged. Nobles shrieked and fled, their finery crushed in the desperate scramble. Sasha stood paralyzed on the table. The goblet quivered in her grip. Louis darted to her side, with grey magic swirling around him like a gathering storm. "Move, Sasha! Get clear!" he barked. Before she could stir, a bolt of wild grey energy lanced through the air, striking her in the chest to knock her out of the crossfire. She crumpled. The goblet slipped from her fingers, rolling uselessly against the stone floor. I couldn't hold on any longer. The catastrophic drain had taken everything. As the hall tore itself apart around me, the darkness finally rose up and swallowed me whole.